Well, today we are taking a little jaunt to downtown Stillwater. We're actually at the Shearar Cultural Center. And the reason that we're here is I wanted to show you this neat garden that was recently put in. It was installed here by a gardening group here in Stillwater, the Late Bloomers, and visiting with us today is Patsy Sutton. Patsy, thank you for showing us around today.
Well, we're happy to have you, Brenda. We're proud of our garden. It's only 1.5 years old, but we think the potential is really great, and we're really pretty proud of the way it looks right now.
Well, this is just a very nice little spot here, and I wanted to show our viewers this garden because it's just a nice garden, and also it's not in a very big spot.
No, we were very limited in the amount of space we had, and we were truly surprised at what we could do with what we have, and I'm anxious for you to see it.
Oh, good. Let's take a look. Now this is a really nice place just to come and spend time. You've got your benches here and everything.
Right.
And what were your goals when you were establishing the garden out here?
Okay, well, we really meant it to be an extension of the museum.
Mm-hmm.
We really think that the history of plants is interesting to a lot of people, and certainly fits the mission of the museum, which is to preserve the history of our local area.
Mm-hmm.
So when we had the opportunity to visit an heirloom garden in Arkansas with Harriet Phillips, we thought that was something we might be able to do here. And I wanted to say Kathy Minnick helped us with planning. She suggested several plans, and we chose this one, and love it.
Very nice.
And
now you've basically got a focal point here in the center, and what is this object that we have?
okay, well, one of our members, Gail Robinson, noticed this setting near the curb, drove by it many times until she finally stopped to look at it and decided it was very old, and through a little bit of research found that it was the base of a pitching post. The house dates back to around 1908 or 1909, so we're assuming it's that old. So the owners of the house were pleased to have us haul it off for them, and we love it as a focal point of our garden.
That's great. Now, the 4 gardens around the center here that you have, you've basically gone with the herb theme.
We have 4 herb gardens around the center circle, and we have divided them into medicinal herbs.
These are nice. Got the lamb's ears. That's always a good one for the medicinal herb.
And behind me there is a new fragrance garden that is just being developed, just newly planted. Over here we have the culinary herbs. And our lemon balm is just a little bit overzealous this year and is taking over some of the others, but we have most of the basic culinary herbs in this garden. And behind, over here, we have the household herbs. And these I find especially interesting because many of them I was familiar with, but I was not familiar with their uses. A good many of them were used for dyeing. The tansy, which is just a beautiful plant, I think.
A beautiful plant.
It's a beautiful plant to grow for actually for cut flowers, but early day pioneers could use the young green leaves to dye wool pretty green color, and then the yellow flowers that are just beginning to come out were used to dye wool yellow.
Oh, wow.
And then the St. John's wort, it was an herb used for dye again, the yellow
With the
flower.
yellow?
The saponaria or soapwort, bouncing bat is another common name, actually can be used for cleaning. The leaves and the roots can be boiled, and they make a really sudsy mixture that is very effective for cleaning old fabrics. The leaves can be mixed with water to create a suds that's good for cleaning skin. So it was a very usable herb. And of course, this is nepeta or catnip. I suppose if you had a cat, you might have wanted to grow a little bit of this. The eupatorium back here, the Joe Pye weed, will develop a huge flower head, a kind of dusty pink color, purplish pink color, that was also used for dye. So these were all practical herbs that were used in many of the households, I would think, at the turn of the century when people first came here and supplies were not that available.
You couldn't run down to the market and get all of those.
No.
Well, that's neat. Now also in this garden you've got your outer areas, and that's where you had your other plants.
Yes. Each one of the 4 remaining beds is centered with a rugosa rose, which we think it was a common rose during that time. And around those roses we have tried to grow other perennials such as the purple coneflower and black-eyed Susan. We have some pitcher sage growing over there, phlox, and other common perennials that would have grown during that time.
Right. And these arches are absolutely beautiful.
Well, these arches are coveted by every member of our group. We come and look at them and just admire them every time we come down here. And they were built by one of our board members, Don Rose, along with another museum friend, Jerry Wattell. And we had talked with them about kind of the size we wanted them. And then on their own, they decided to put in the design that matched the arches in the windows.
Oh, that's very
and we
nice.
were so pleased. We think they're beautiful, and they add so much to the garden.
Yeah. Well, this garden is absolutely beautiful. It's been fun to see it grow, and it will fill in very nicely, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. Faster than we want in some cases.
That's the way gardens do.
Right.
But we really appreciate the tour, and we'll have to come back and see how it's going along.
Oh, do. Yeah, do.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.